Hello, I'm Sarah, pronoun she, her. Today I'm going to be talking about rainbow capitalism, also known as gay capitalism, homo capitalism, or pink capitalism. So, as you probably know, every June companies basically break out their rainbow flags. You'll see all around the shops, you'll see rainbow flags, rainbow products, literally anything you want. You can get rainbow bags, rainbow shoes, God, you name it, it's got rainbows on it and it will sell. This is basically what rainbow capitalism is. To use a more official definition, well, I've got one from Wikipedia here. Rainbow capitalism is the incorporation of the LGBTQ+ movement and sexual diversity to capitalism and the market economy. So basically, it's the use of the pride rainbow symbol by companies in order to get money from LGBTQ+ individuals and LGBTQ+ allies as well during Pride Month. And sometimes not in Pride Month, like they can have rainbows out any time of year, but it primarily happens around this time of year in June. So companies usually mask the intentions that they have when using the pride symbol as support for the LGBTQ+ community. But the real motivation, usually, if not in all cases, is the money that they will get from supporters and members of the LGBTQ+ community. In reality, many of the companies that use the rainbow flag on their products do not actually support the community in any way other than using their symbol and spreading this awareness, which is a good thing, but there is more that companies could do. So a lot of companies use the rainbow flag, but they don't, for example, give their proceeds from their pride products to LGBTQ+ charities or organisations which help the community. So yeah, it's basically brands paying lip service to this cause when they're actually not really doing much about it. There are, of course, exceptions to this. So for example, I know that Converse, Doc Martens, H&M, IKEA and some other companies, I obviously haven't mentioned them all here, do give some of their proceeds from their pride products to LGBTQ+ organisations and charities, which is excellent. And whenever I am buying rainbow branded products, I do try and make sure that the products I buy do in some way support the LGBTQ+ community. I think even companies that do give some of their proceeds to LGBTQ+ organisations and charities kind of miss the point about what the rainbow means. The rainbow flag is a symbol of a history of struggle and oppression, and not even a history in some cases. Like, there are still countries where being gay is illegal, where you could literally face the death penalty for being a member of the LGBTQ+ community. And in using the rainbow flag, companies are ignoring this in some way. They're kind of using it as like a novelty, and not really thinking about the implications of what this rainbow symbol means. And this is where I have a lot of issues with rainbow capitalism. It just isn't right at all. Now, in saying this, I should say that I'm not trying to claim that I don't think support for the LGBTQ+ community is extremely important. And when I see rainbows in shop windows, I get happy. There is a little fire in my heart that lights up every time I see it. And I'm not going to pretend that that is not the case. I think support for the community is very, very important. I think we just need to be aware of the intentions behind these companies and their use of the rainbow flag. And yes, as I said, support is amazing, but there are ways of supporting the community without monetizing from them. In using the rainbow flag, companies are taking part in what is called slacktivism, which I've got a definition here from the Oxford Dictionary, which defines it as the practice of supporting a political or social cause by means such as social media or online petitions characterised as involving very little effort or commitment. So basically, in using the rainbow flag, companies are feigning support for the LGBTQ plus community without actually doing very much and actually gaining more than they are giving. And there are other ways in which companies can help the LGBTQ plus community. An example of more that companies could do, I'm going to use the case study of Adidas. So Adidas had a Pride collection in 2018. I think they still do, but I'm using the case of 2018 because in that very same year, they were also sponsoring the World Cup, which was held in Russia. In showing support for the LGBTQ plus community, while at the same time sponsoring a big event in a country where it is unsafe to be LGBTQ plus, it kind of shows that they are not actually supporting the LGBTQ plus community. So they could have boycotted, for example, for that year to show solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community, but it just shows that they are using the symbol not to give their full support, because by supporting the World Cup in Russia, they don't fully support LGBTQ plus individuals, because if they did, then they wouldn't be supporting a country where it is unsafe to be LGBTQ plus. So there is more that companies can do than plastering rainbow flags over their products. So basically what I'm trying to say is that companies are not using the rainbow flag to support LGBTQ plus communities, because if they did truly support us, they would do more. Instead, they are doing what gets them the most money, which just really makes me very, very angry. Now, something else on a related note that I wanted to talk about is the use of the rainbow flag at the moment during this pandemic to show support for the NHS. Now, I want to preface this by just making it clear that I am so thankful for the NHS, and I think the amount of support that people have been showing by putting rainbows up in their windows is amazing and lovely. And I think we should be supporting the NHS because they're doing an amazing job, especially at the moment, but always. And so I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea from what I'm going to say here. However, I don't think that the rainbow is the symbol that they should have went for, where the rainbow already stands for a cause that needs to be supported. And it especially irks me when people use like the rainbow flag, not just drawing rainbows in their windows, they hang the pride flag out of their windows. And if you ask them whether they were supporting the LGBTQ plus community, because that's what you would assume, they are saying no, it's to show support for the NHS. They are using the literal pride flag to show support for the NHS. And I don't know if you've heard of the Pride bus, or was Pride bus in Plymouth, that has recently been rebranded as a thank you NHS bus. This really upset me because it just reinforces the idea that companies don't use the rainbow flag to support the LGBTQ plus community, but rather they use it to gain money. And so at the moment, because it's trendy, for want of a better word, to support the NHS and to use the rainbow to support the NHS, at a drop of a hat, this bus company have decided just to completely rebrand the Pride bus, because at the moment people are showing more support for the NHS than they are for the LGBTQ plus community, which again, I completely understand and I love the support, but I just feel like a different symbol should be used. Now, the bus company has since apologised, but this is only because of the backlash that they received from the rebranding of this bus, which just shows that they will respond to what their consumers say, rather than actually thinking about the implications of what they're doing. And if their consumers are upset or angry, they're going to change it rather than keeping it the same in order to support the LGBTQ plus community. Basically, to sum up that little point about the NHS, as I've said before, I of course think that support for the NHS is extremely important, especially at the moment, and people please continue to show your support for the NHS, because they are doing an incredible job. I just wish that it didn't have to be the rainbow as a symbol. Like, they could have used anything else. They could have used like a little sunshine, something easy for kids to draw, that people could put up into their windows, or even just the blue NHS symbol that exists already. I don't understand why our symbol needed to be taken from us in order to show support for something else, when we already use the rainbow, and the rainbow already represents this history of struggle and oppression, and it just feels like that has just been forgotten. This history of struggle, this history of oppression has just been forgotten at a drop of a hat, because it's now trendy to use the rainbow to mean something else, and that just deeply, deeply upsets me. Now, having said all this, I don't mean to say that you should feel bad for buying rainbow products, and for feeling that little spark of happiness when you see pride flags, even if they're being hung up in shop windows. I myself have struggled with these two ideas in my head, because I love the fact that more people are supporting the LGBTQ+ communities, against this idea that they are showing this support just because now it's okay and it's fun and it's trendy to do so, and that means they're going to get more money. And obviously support is support, and I think it's very important to remember that you shouldn't feel bad for wanting to buy rainbow things, because pride is important, and wanting to celebrate yourself and your identity is important. And if you want to do that through items of clothing which present the rainbow flag, which are being sold by these companies, then it's absolutely, completely fine. However you want to express yourself, that is absolutely fine. What I do think is that we need to be a little bit more aware of the intentions behind the companies that are selling these pride products. And as I said before, I try and buy pride products from companies that I know are donating some of the proceeds to LGBTQ+ charities and organisations. And I think that's something that we can all do, to show the companies that we are not buying their products simply because they are rainbow products. We are buying their products because we know that they fully do support us, and to show them that they can't get away with just selling pride products in order to get more money. They need to be supporting the LGBTQ+ community. I think that's so, so important, that we show companies that they can't just get away with just using us in order to get money. I think it's disgusting. But yeah, we feel enough guilt as members of the LGBTQ+ community. In making this video, I am not trying to make you feel guilty for buying rainbow products. I think we just need to be aware of what's going on, aware of what's happening and the intentions that the companies have, and try not to support companies that, like I mentioned before with Adidas, that are also supporting things that don't support the LGBTQ+ community on top of making these rainbow products. We want to make sure that these companies are true to their support of the LGBTQ+ community. Basically, to sum up, it makes me angry that people are trying to monetize off this history and current reality of oppression that LGBTQ+ individuals in the past and across the world face. And I just wish companies would think twice before they use this and make sure that they are donating some of their proceeds to charities and organisations that support the LGBTQ+ community. And for those of you that do want to buy pride-themed items, just try and buy items that do support actual LGBTQ+ communities, organisations, charities, and the people that struggle all over the world because of who they are and who they love. Yeah, that's it from me. So for tomorrow's video, we have a very exciting interview from some of the people that you may have seen in our bios on Instagram. They're going to be talking about what pride means to them and why pride is important. So please tune in and check out the rest of our videos. Like our pages, which I will link in a moment, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this, and happy Pride Month.